Right now, billions of humans walk this planet believing being the only human species was normal. But it wasn't. For most of human history, Homo sapiens shared Earth with other human species, especially the powerful Neanderthals. Imagine walking through Europe 40,000 years ago and knowing another type of human was out there, making tools, raising children, hunting mammoths, and surviving brutal Ice Age winters. Then one day, they were gone. Completely gone. What happened during their final days may reveal something unsettling about who we really are. Picture a small cave somewhere in southern Spain or near the forests of France. The air is freezing. Food is getting harder to find. And inside that cave, what could have been one of the final Neanderthal families sits around a weak fire. A father returns from hunting with almost nothing. A mother tries to comfort a hungry child. An elderly relative, injured, slower, but still cared for, rests near the wall. And that detail matters. Archaeologists discovered Neanderthal skeletons with healed injuries, proving something shocking. They cared for their sick and elderly. They weren't mindless cavemen. They had compassion. In 2018, researchers studying remains from Shanidar Cave found evidence suggesting Neanderthals may have buried their dead with intention. Think about that for a second. Grief, ritual, memory, those are deeply human behaviors. But their world was shrinking. Animal populations were migrating. Temperatures were changing. Their groups were small, isolated, and scattered. Some scientists estimate there may have been fewer than 5,000 Neanderthals left at certain points. And when a population gets that small, one unexpected visitor can change everything. And then came Homo sapiens. Not all at once. Not like a Hollywood invasion scene where dramatic music starts playing and everyone runs for their lives. Nope. It was slower. And honestly, that makes it even creepier. Around 45,000 years ago, modern humans began spreading across Europe. Territory Neanderthals had occupied for hundreds of thousands of years. Suddenly, there was competition for food, shelter, hunting grounds, and survival. And here's where things get uncomfortable. In 2022, archaeologists studying ancient hunting tools found that Homo sapiens often had more advanced projectile weapons. Better long-range hunting tools meant safer hunts and more food. In survival terms, that's like showing up to a chess match while someone else still thinks they're playing checkers. But did humans directly kill Neanderthals? Some researchers believe violent conflict happened. Others argue disease may have played a huge role. Imagine meeting another human species and unknowingly passing viruses their immune systems had never encountered. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? And yet, even that may not have been the biggest threat they faced. Because nature had its own brutal plans waiting in the shadows. Here's the twist most people never see coming. Climate change may have been deadlier than humans. Around 44,000 to 40,000 years ago, Earth was going through violent climate instability during the last ice age. Temperatures in parts of Europe changed rapidly. Forests disappeared. Grasslands expanded. Then conditions shifted again. It was environmental chaos. A 2018 study published in Nature Ecology and Evolution suggested Neanderthals were heavily dependent on specific ecosystems and large animals like mammoths, deer, and bison. When those ecosystems collapsed, their food systems collapsed too. Think of it like someone deleting every grocery store in your city overnight. What would you do? Neanderthals had survived harsh winters before, but this time was different. Their populations were already small. Their territories were fragmented. Their resources kept vanishing. And when survival gets harder, every weakness becomes louder. Less food meant fewer births. Smaller groups meant less genetic diversity. Isolation made recovery almost impossible. But here's where the story gets even stranger. What if they never truly disappeared at all? And this is where the story flips everything people thought they knew. For decades, scientists believed Neanderthals vanished forever. End of story. Gone. Finished. But in 2010, geneticist Svante Pääbo and his team at Max Planck Institute for Evolutionary Anthropology dropped a scientific bombshell after sequencing Neanderthal DNA. They discovered that most modern humans outside of Africa still carry roughly 1% to 2% Neanderthal DNA. Yeah, Let that sink in. That means Neanderthals didn't just disappear, they had children with Homo sapiens. Their bloodline continued through us. Some of those inherited genes may influence immune systems, skin adaptation, pain sensitivity, sleep patterns, and even certain health risks today. In a weird way, every time someone complains about being a night owl or having strange allergies, ancient history may be whispering through their DNA. Crazy, right? The species we thought was erased may still be walking among us, through billions of people. But if their genes survived, what did their actual final moments look like? Now comes the part nobody can fully prove, but everyone wonders about. What did the very last Neanderthals experience on their final day? Maybe it was a lone woman standing near the coastline of ancient Gibraltar, where some of the latest Neanderthal remains were discovered at Gorham's Cave. Maybe she watched the horizon while colder winds rolled in. Maybe hunting had failed for weeks. Maybe the familiar voices of her family were already gone. No one knows whether the final Neanderthal understood they were witnessing the end of their species. That thought is haunting, isn't it? In 2019, researchers studying Gorham's Cave found evidence that Neanderthals may have survived there longer than many scientists expected, using caves as their final refuge. Imagine being the last of your kind. No future generations. No one left who speaks like you. No tribe waiting over the next hill. Just silence. And here's the disturbing question. If an entire human species could disappear so quietly, what makes us think it could never happen to us? For years, people asked one haunting question. What killed the Neanderthals? And the uncomfortable truth? There wasn't one single cause. Homo sapiens likely pressured them through competition. Climate change destroyed ecosystems they depended on. Disease may have weakened already fragile populations. And their small numbers made recovery nearly impossible. It was the perfect evolutionary storm. And that changes everything about how humans see themselves. For generations, people loved telling a comforting story, that humans were destined to dominate Earth because we were simply better. But history tells a far more humbling truth. Survival is often messy. Sometimes it depends on timing, adaptability, cooperation, and sometimes pure luck. Neanderthals survived for over 400,000 years. They endured brutal winters, predators, starvation, and changing landscapes. Yet they still disappeared. And now their story leaves modern humanity with a chilling mirror. If another intelligent human species could vanish despite everything they overcame, what exactly makes us believe we're untouchable? Maybe the real lesson of their extinction is this. Humanity is far more fragile than it wants to admit.